find out if you ever met
Bobby.
Bob Barker. I doubt it. Jason Kelce with us, Garage Beer and more. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Joe. How we doing?
I'm well. Who are you most excited to meet? All these incredible people you've met.
I don't know.
You had Kevin Hart on your show recently.
Who have I been the most excited?
Who are you the most excited to meet?
Anybody you looked up to growing up is pretty freaking unreal. Meeting them. I mean, my favorite football player growing up was Jerome Bettis, and I was able to meet him this past year, do his golf outing, and that was a surreal moment seeing somebody that like is your favorite guy.
Sure.
I mean, that's a big time.
You know, he's a 300 bowler.
He won.
Really?
He also came into my golf outing and won my golf outing. I think that dude's just good at everything. It sounds
Wow.
like. Yeah. No. So the bus was that was the guy growing up. And outside of that, any of the comedians, and Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell, had Brad Pitt on recently. Like,
jeez.
yeah. No, we're in a
cow.
weird
Arnold
territory.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
That's
Arnold.
wild.
I don't know how
dude.
you forget. Yeah, Arnold was an all-timer for sure.
It must give you a kick that they got to be excited to meet you. I mean, I know that's
I don't think they're as excited.
Arnold got
love it.
swarmed. When I was at the Hula Bowl,
Yeah.
Arnold was at the restaurant that a bunch of us, I mean, it was like half the team, half the Hula Bowl roster was at this restaurant, and poor Arnold and his wife were sitting there.
Yeah.
And he was just inundated. I mean,
not,
he
not,
didn't
not,
leave
his,
alone the whole
not
time.
his wife anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
I know,
Maybe that's
unfortunately.
why.
He's got like a.
How about for where he came from and where he
It's
an
His
extraordinary
life.
story.
Holy cow.
It's an amazing story.
Sure is, man. Sure is. All right, Jason with us in studio. So we'll take your calls over the next hour with Jason here, 215-592-9494. Obviously, confluence of some really good stuff. Eagles 1-0, play the Chiefs on Sunday. Phil's on a roll, really in a good spot now for the 2 seed. 10 up on the Mets for the division. Magic number is 7. Jason, let's go back to last week. Then we'll do a lot on this week.
Sure.
Last week's pretty hashed out, but just give us your biggest takeaways from the Eagles and Cowboys. What stood out to you?
Well, I thought the offense to start the game was phenomenal. Really, the first 3 or 4 drives, the openers that the Eagles had, it felt like we had some really good chunk plays, and then it kind of developed into more of a dink and dunk, kind of matriculate your way down the field. But both offenses, I was just looking at both offenses, I don't think either one punted. There was a one fumble before the delay, but it was a very offensive heavy game. And then after that, neither team scored again. So it was an odd way the game went. I think that Jalen Hurts played extremely well. I think offensively we can clean some things up front and have a little bit more consistent, dominant run game moving forward. And, defensively they had a tough matchup. I mean, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, and I know that everybody likes to think that the Cowboys are going to be just awful and that Dak Prescott's not a good quarterback. Were they a lot
better than you expected, or they...
Well, they I don't know if... they performed better than I think I expected as a result. I guess
Sure.
I thought I knew that they would be good. I expected us to be a little bit better, I think.
Me too.
And I think that's where it comes down to, and I think we need to improve over there.
Well, a healthy Dak makes a difference. I mean, I'll be honest. I had forgotten until the broadcast when they discussed it that he finished second for league MVP 2 years ago. I didn't know that or didn't remember it.
He's a good quarterback. They've revamped their offensive line, and they're still not as good as they used to be up front, but they're good enough. And then their receiving threats are as good as anybody in the league, really. I mean, they're right up there. So it was a really tough test for a backfield that is only returning really 3 starters. So they gotta it's early in the season. They got to make corrections and improve. And if there's anything that I'm looking forward to, I mean, last year, the backfield, I would say, didn't look great through the first 4 games either. So I think it's, they're going to we have really good coaches. Vic's a great coach. All of the position coaches on the defensive side of the ball are really good. And I have a sneaky suspicion that those guys are going to get a lot better on the defense side of the ball.
I feel like, am I leaping to conclusions in assuming that Jaylen Carter's presence this week is going to make everything better? I mean, in a big way on defense.
Well, he's the best player on that side of the ball.
Yep.
And he's disruptive in every facet of the game, the run game, the pass game. And not only that, there's structural things at this point that teams are probably doing to account for him. So there's undoubtedly that was a big loss before the thing even started. So, no, I think you'll see a much improved defense solely with him on the field.
Basically, we have one more guy this week than we had last week because they're going to have to devote multiple guys to him.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like 11 on 10 football or 10 on 9 or whatever. Yeah, 10 on 9, I guess, other than him.
Yeah, and other guys are going to get better opportunities. You can't just go out there and run your offense with him on the field. You have to account for him, and you have to. In pass pro, you're going to have to slide to him. You're going to have to do things to mitigate him, get double team him, and that opens up a lot of plays for other players.
So let's get to the Jalen Carter thing, not impact in the game, but what happened and, this stage of his career and the whole deal. Let's go to something Mike Quick said yesterday. When I was out, James and John and Rhea had Mike Quick on the show, and he talked about the Jalen Carter spitting incident. Listen to what Mike said.
Such a boneheaded move that I was just – I didn't have words. I still don't have words. How do you do that in that situation? Here's the thing. You spent all the last few months just preparing for this moment, and you get to the moment, and you do something so irrational, so crazy in an instant, and you get eliminated from the game. That, to me, is just mind-blowing.
No question. Well said. Jason, what was your reaction?
Well, my reaction right away was, what the heck is going on? Because I was at the game, and at the game, you couldn't tell what was taking place. You just see Ben Simmons down, a cart's coming out, and then Jalen's walking off the field. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
No question.
And they announced he's been ejected, and it was a wild, wild start. And then slowly it kind of came out through Twitter and all the internet stuff, and the video of him spitting on Dak was pretty jarring. I just remember being like, why the heck would this happen? And then the whole thing with Dak leading up to it came out, and my overall reaction is like, you obviously you can't do that. You can't. Boneheaded move is such a great way to say it by Mike. It's just like, why would you go there? Why would that even occur to you, first of all? Like that, I think that's one thing in itself. But you have 4 quarters to get back at this guy, and you're a player that this team relies on. You're building a legacy and something much bigger than this, and don't lose sight of that. And I think that the Eagles have lost a lot of older players and leaders over the last few years, and now this guy is somebody that they are counting on to be a presence on that field. Mm-hmm. And I think that was a really bad start to this season, a learning moment for Jalen. He already knows he messed up, and with all the things that people are crushing about in his past, everything that happened before the game, it's just a really, really unfortunate incident. And I just want this kid to really – he has so much potential, not just as a player, but as a human being, to be able to leave a life and a legacy behind him that can transcend things for his family. So I think it's really, really sad that something like this happens, but he'll make the corrections.
So, Jason,
what do you expect to see from him? I mean, this week when he elevates his game. I mean, it does feel like everyone keeps saying he's going to make up for it. He's going to make up for it. An ultra-motivated Jalen Carter, what does that look like?
Well, I don't know that guy goes on the field and ever isn't motivated. Like, he's a pretty dominant player at all times. But, yeah, he's going to come out there and he's going to be looking to not make up for it, but he's going to be fired up. He's pissed off that happened. And unfortunately, the Chiefs' offensive line is going to have to bear the brunt of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jason, how do you – so you can tell the guy, write it on a blackboard 500 times, I won't do it again. Yeah. I won't do it again. Ruben, you probably dealt with players in baseball. I don't think you put the guy on the blackboard and say, I won't do it again. But what do you do as an organization? Like, so let me say this. If he's eligible to play, which he is, I'm playing him. Yeah. I'm playing him as many snaps as I can. I'm not holding him out a quarter or a half or a series. I'm playing him. But, I said on Friday, I guess it was, I got 10 days to break him down.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking like in the military, like Hell Week, it's your first week. Like, I'm breaking you down, dude. What does that mean in football terms in the locker room? Like, the leaders are doing what with him? The coaches are doing what with him? What can they realistically do to get through to him?
Well, I think that the reality is he's already been suspended for a game. He lost an entire game, and he's going to lose a lot of money because of this dumb decision. So I think the punitive aspect has already been dealt, in my opinion. I think at this point, it's more about, listen, man, we need you. You need to be better than that for yourself. Your entire career is set up so incredible at this moment. Don't let stupid things like this tear that down. And then the other thing for me, just as a player, and this is where, we all get wrapped up in our emotions at times. I've made tons of stupid mistakes, and in the heat of the moment, you do something and it's the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And I think that you try to really think about what can I do moving forward, not take things so much in the moment. And for him, this is one of the best things about football. You have 4 quarters to now go take that out on this guy. It's not like this happened at the end of the game.
Right.
Like, if that happens to you, all right, take the mental note. And then you can go if he would have stayed in the game, it might have been one of the best games Jalen Carter's ever had, because now you're dealing with a guy who's like water boy. He's like got the coach's head going on over there on the other side of the ball. And it's like, you doing that allowed him to get the better of you. That's the reality of it. So you actually lost this battle. And instead, next time, you can take that and channel that and all of a sudden make him pay for what he did.
Yeah.
He made you pay for reacting. You could have done the opposite. And I think that those are the things you're trying to repeatedly imprint in a young guy's mind. Like, you reacting gives the other person the power. And especially if you react and now all of a sudden you're hurting yourself or your team. So you got it. That's what you're trying to imprint in his mind. And you're trying to make sure that he knows how important he is to the team and how important it is that he's on the field.
Yeah. Ruben, one quick question, then right to the phones. In baseball terms, when you have a great player who's young and immature, how often do you get through to that guy and turn him into a true pro, and how often do you not?
Well, it depends on the player. I mean, it's an individual thing. I think it depends on whether the guy was a college sign or a high school sign, because you have more impact on a guy who is a high school sign because he's younger, right? His adulthood is not locked in yet.
You got him earlier.
Most college guys, they're who they are. And so you're not going to change them a whole lot. I mean, you can advise, but you're not going to change them a whole lot. But that's my feeling on it. That's always been my feeling on it. High school guys are still malleable. You can still kind of work them.
Yeah.
But college guys they're probably beyond.
I mean, this guy's got a shot to be. I mean, he already established it in 2 years, being one of the great 2-year players in Eagles history. But he's got a shot to be one of the great 10-year players in football history. And you want to see him. Like James, I pointed out a few days ago, like John Morant's career has just gone completely sideways or backwards because of total nonsense. You want to see Jalen Carter. I mean, John Vermeil said to us 2 years ago, reminds him of Reggie White.
Yeah.
Like if a caller had said that, I would have hung up on the caller. But I'm not hanging up when Coach Vermeil says this guy reminds me of Reggie White.
Yeah.
Like that. And then last year what he showed, like I think he's already better than the best of Fletcher and the best of Jerome Brown.
So I think that
I believe that.
I think that there's an environment issue, right? If you're put in an environment, it just seems like they're super professional people. You would know this better than I would, Jason. But It just seems like Sirianni's his whole demeanor and the way how he goes about his business, they're professional people. Mm-hmm. And you're around the professional people, you have a tendency to, gravitate towards that, mindset. Focus. And so I think that mindset, and it's really about the product of the people that you're around. Hopefully that. But
I will say this. But I will say, T.O. joined a locker room with Trott and Doc and Andy Reid.
That was T.O.
He was also
right. I know, but
he was already.
But you get my point.
But T.O. wasn't homegrown. There's a difference.
Rhea just hit it. Yeah. It's much different training for a guy, and this is one of the things why it's so important to build through the draft and have people in your organization to build a culture. It's really hard. Every time you've been traded or every time you've been cut and signed, there's you've been shown the business side of the sports. Right? When you're drafted a place, I have an unrealistic sense of loyalty from the Eagles organization. And that's the reality of it. And I have a very skewed mindset, and it's not the same as guys, and it shouldn't be, that have been dealt the reality of the business of football.
Yeah.
But back to, I think the Jalen Carter thing, I think that some of this is we're missing Brandon Graham, we're missing Fletcher Cox, we're missing a lot of guys that have been older veteran players.
Guy named Jason Kelce.
I'm talking just the defensive side of the ball. I didn't have much to do with that. But I remember Fletch, BG could talk trash with the best of them, right? And that's kind of what Jalen was doing to start this whole thing off. And Fletch would be right there with them, kind of holding them back a little bit. And BG was always playful with it. But there's got to be an accountability as a group also, in my opinion. And I think that's kind of what Rube is saying. When you have this group mindset, it really brings guys along. And the reality is, listen, I don't like what happened, but one of the reasons, I'm not even going to say this, Jalen Carter's a great player because he's an edgy guy, right? Yeah. That's one of the reasons. That's part of the things that make all great defensive players. Like, you
play mad. You got it.
Yes.
Anger plays into excellence defensively.
Now control that. And impulsiveness plays well defensively. Like there's a level of it's in a reactionary position. We don't have time to think. Just go. Now you gotta be smarter than that. You can't let that get to your head and cause negative aspects. And I think he will be better moving forward.
All right, a lot to react to here.
We haven't talked about the biggest point of this game. How do the Eagles cover your brother? The Eagles are now equipped to cover your brother better than they were the last time that they played because of Jahad Campbell and his ability to just run. And he's inside. You got Zach Bond in there. We've got Cooper DeJean who can help out. I just wonder, based on what you've watched, I mean, I'm sure when you're watching these games, you're scrutinizing the way they cover your brother, the way they try to take him out of the game. How can they best stop him?
Well, I'll say this. Jahad Campbell and Zach Bond are probably the two biggest positives out of the last game. They looked incredible. They were running around. I mean, there's a tackle Zach Bond made on the backside of an outside run going down the left side where I'm like, how in the if he doesn't get to that guy, we lose probably. We lose the game.
Wow.
It was an insane, like he ran it down. I think
it was Miles Sanders. It was absolutely Miles Sanders.
It was like, how in the hell did he catch him with that angle?
Oh, the long run, right?
Yeah. It was
right.
so impressive that he made that play. And then obviously there's a bunch of highlights from Jahad running down, covering guys downfield. For Travis, I will say this. Usually the game plan is not to have a linebacker guarding him, right? Usually the game plan is let's drop a safety down over top.
Because they can't run a 4-3. This guy runs a 4-3 and a 40. Correct. So does Zach Bond.
So I don't know if that changes it up. I think typically going into a game, you're trying to drop a safety down towards Travis, or you're lining up a nickel and you'd be putting Cooper over there. I don't know what the game plan will be with the Eagles, but having Jahad Campbell and the versatility that he has opens them up to do whatever they want, really. I mean, this guy can play coverage, he can play in the box linebacker, and he can play on the line of scrimmage. That is an unbelievable skill set for Vic Fangio and everything he likes to do defensively to be able to use.
What a win for the Eagles to get Jahad Campbell in the 30s.
And Zach Bond can do all of those things also.
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
Sure. You got two inside backers who can do all of these things, and they could, I don't feel terrible matching them up in man against the best tight end beating man coverage in the NFL.
Seltzer, set your watch for the year 2031. The next time someone calls in a WIP and says, we need a linebacker.
Dude, we're the best duo in the sport.
We got a while to go.
What are we doing here?
All right, to the phones. So the Phils on a major role in the Eagles and Chiefs. Obviously, we're getting ready for it. We got Jason in studio with us. Let's talk to Chuck in Cherry Hill. Good morning, Chuck.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Great crew. We do remember the victims, families impacted by 9/11 on this day, man.
Absolutely.
Sure do.
Absolutely, positively. Talking about the home field advantage, here's a stat that's really pretty compelling. Since August 1st, so we go back to August 1st, at home, we're 14-4, plus 55 run differential.
Wow.
Since August 1st. On the road, we're 10-9, minus 18 run differential. Just to show you what the home field advantage is worth. This team at home is just unbelievable. But,
so a couple of things, Chuck. I'll just say, obviously, you want home field advantage. You want as many games at Citizens Bank Park as possible. We know that. We know they got good history there. It is noteworthy that in the last 3 seasons, in their final 2 games of the postseason, they are 1-5 at Citizens Bank Park. Ruben, did you know that?
I did know that.
Because they were winning every game.
Yeah, it's a great point.
But they lost two. They lost two in a row to
Houston, 2 to the Diamondbacks, and then 2
1 and 1 to the Bears.
There's sort of like this nervous hush over the ballpark. Those games. It was weird.
It can get very tight.
It can get tight.
It gets so. Chuck, I hear you, and they're a really good home team, but you just want to see them take it the distance this year.
To extend that point, they're batting 197 in those 6 games you just referred to. So, yeah. Now, on your point about the flyouts, if I could push back on that a little bit, the concern was you'd have a 16 that would be like maybe sub 500. But when you look at it now, you've got quality teams. You've got plus 100 run differential with these teams that are 4, 5, and 6. So you have, plus 40 over 500 in each league, 4, 5, and 6 seed. you got quality teams that are now vying for that last position. I think it makes September baseball just fantastic that they have expanded it, and you have a bigger race with more teams.
It'd be over. There'd be no race in the National League. The only spot that's up for grabs is the 6th spot. Like, it'd be done. We wouldn't be paying attention to anything the last 3 weeks of the season.
Well, listen, Chuck, you guys are clearly right. The flip side is just what I'll call fairness. Is whether it's...
They're going to be like an 89-90 win team. It's not like an 81-win team.
Is whether it's fair for a team that gets smoked by 10 or more games to have a chance to beat a team in the playoffs that beat them by 10 or more. I mean, that's what the whole issue...
A 9-7 or 9-8 team can beat a 14-3 team.
But doesn't as often. Doesn't as often.
You have a team like Cincinnati that's probably not going to make it, but if they did, let's say, hypothetically, with their pitching, you could lose to Cincinnati.
Let me tell you something. Phillies could lose to any of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way baseball is. But I do think since they expanded it, it's good for baseball overall. And but, man, I think the Phillies are playing the best baseball they've played in years right now. The bottom line is producing, and Bader has just all boats rise, baby. And, the corners got better with him because he extends more. His defensive run safe metrics are as good as anybody's played last year.
He's been great. He's been great defensively. Chuck, give me an answer. Yeah. What's an over-the-top scene?
Somebody, of course, took my horse's head in The Godfather. They're going to stick with The Godfather and, in a kind of a quiet way, make them an offer they can't refuse. It's not a winning answer, but I'm on the board.
You got it, buddy. All right, pal.
Not a great answer.
Horrible answer.
Horrible. Go with Sonny at the toll booth if you want to. I mean, I don't think it's that over the top, but better than making an offer.
Yeah. If you want over the top scene, go to Rocky and Thunder Lips. I mean, I was trying to stay with The Godfather there. Yeah.
What's the best Rocky, Jason? I like Rocky 3 the most.
Thank you, Jason. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Sorry,
Suck it to camera.
Turn his microphone off.
Rocky 1 used to be my favorite. Actually, my guilty pleasure is Rocky 4, of course. But Rocky 1 used to be my favorite. Yeah. And then I think after playing I was in the NFL, and I'm we had just turned the Rocky series back on to rewatch it. And you forget about Rocky 3 and some of the storylines and things that are happening because there's Mr. T.
There is no tomorrow.
The beach running. It's so much fun.
But there is this, I don't know, that one hit home the most as an actual professional athlete, I will say. After watching that, I'm like, man, I think I'm a Rocky 3 guy now.
Yes.
I definitely am. And for me, 4 comes in second. I mean, it is so over the top. We're talking about over the top today. 4, the Cold War, it brings it all
likes 2. DeCamera thinks 2 is the most. It's
you guys disappoint me.
It's so slow, Rocky 2.
Compared to 4?
It's not even comparable in terms of entertainment value.
Because he's retired. That's the whole point. He's freaking retired, and Apollo's trying to get him out of retirement. That's the whole point of the movie.
I don't care. It's boring compared to the other ones.
It's
flat out boring.
We need a Rocky movie to end this Ukraine-Russia thing. That's all I know.
Oh, boy. You're not kidding, Jason. You are not kidding. Let's go to Zach in Medford right now. Hey, Stallone, Kelce wants a new Rocky movie. Get on it. Zach in Medford. Good morning, Zach.
I'll call my people and I'll get in touch with Sly.
Thank you.
No worries. So I'm going to get to my Eagles point, but first I wanted to announce to you guys with my favorite player on the air. My wife and I are bringing a new Eagle fan into the world in February.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations, bud.
Way to go, bud.
Thank you very much. We're having a little boy in February.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Because Jason's got the girl market cornered.
Yeah. That's right. We got to balance out the general population now,
Didn't want to horn in on Kelce's territory, God forbid. So I'm thinking, I've been thinking about this game, and especially now with Jalen Carter coming back. I'm thinking Sunday is going to be a low-scoring defensive clinic. I think both Vic Fangio and Spagnuolo are going to put on their best game faces, and the offenses are just going to be sputtering.
Well, what's going to be fascinating, Zach, is whether Spagnuolo loads up again to try to stop Saquon, because when he tried it 6 months ago, Jalen Hurts absolutely torched him. Just crushed him.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're going to see makeup for AJ's 1 reception and target last week for sure.
Well, probably, but it is
better.
It is noteworthy that everyone who's reviewed the film hardcore has said he wasn't open. I mean, John, you've used the term, and I think you even used it to Sirianni, to what extent you force the ball to him. Like, if he's not open, not open.
There's a lot that you can do to pry guys open. If they're running man, you do the picking, try to block guys off. There's a lot more you can do from personnel perspective, from formation perspective, that allows you to get your best players the ball.
Usually you go into the game with a couple design plays where it's like, even if they're concepts, they're really designed to go to one specific person. And most coaches try to get guys into a rhythm early. And I would imagine there'll be a few more designed this week for AJ than they even usually do.
Right.
Now, I don't know what happened last week. I mean, sometimes it just happens this way. Like, you design something because you're expecting a certain coverage, whether it's, 2, 4, 3, whatever it is, and it's the other thing, so then it's going to the other read on that route.
Yeah.
And Jalen was executing phenomenal.
Well, let me say to that point, so Zach, to that point, because, I've been a Jalen doubter. It's pretty well known. But not only did I think he played great the other day, particularly great given that in most instances, I'm sure AJ and Devonta are the prime spots he's looking for when he drops back, to get to the point where he's hitting the running backs or Goddard, who I think had like 7 or 8 catches.
To start the game, he threw.
That's outstanding by Jalen Hurts.
And over the middle has been something that he's been criticized for heavily.
Yes.
I thought it was a really, really good job by Jalen. And listen, at times when AJ hasn't been there, our offense has really, really struggled.
Yep.
So as much as we need to involve AJ and we need to get on the ball, I thought it was actually a really promising sign.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Zach, give me an answer, bud, for a scene that's over the top.
So it's one of the best scenes, but they say the acting was a little campy. The announcement of Darth Vader being Luke's father.
Oh, yeah. Mark Hamill, way over. You complain about that all the time.
It's Mark Hamill's reaction.
Yeah, he's way over the top.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
That's a great answer.
It's just the reaction of Mark Hamill. It's a little bit like, come on, dude, get it together.
That's horrendous.
Because you're also hanging by a thread. You're about to fall off into outer space and die.
Well, I realize now Mark Hamill did kind of a poor job in all of these movies.
Ways,
but as a 3-year-old, as a 5-year-old, I didn't notice.
Harrison Ford had a little bit of a better career moving forward.
Oh, yeah, just a little better. It's
Mark
close
Hamill.
between the two.
All right, so let's listen to Frady Cat, Jerry Jones. Frady Cat.
Ooh, like
Frady
that.
Cat.
Yeah, Frady Cat, Jerry Jones. By the way, Cowboys documentary on Amazon is pretty good if you haven't checked it out. Very, very good. But it's
That
also
sucks, though. So.
They do. So Jerry Jones was on the record yesterday on that radio station. He goes on weekly down in Dallas on the Micah Parsons to the Eagles thing. So I think most people know Jay Glazer reported that the Eagles gave the best offer for Parsons, which was 2 first-round picks, a 3 and a 5. Now, I actually would not have done it from the Eagles standpoint. Eagles obviously were going to do it. Jerry Jones turned it down. He was asked a good question on that radio interview yesterday. Frady Cat, listen to him.
Jerry, there was a reported offer over the weekend that Philadelphia had made in a trade for Micah. Was that a flat no, or was there a counter offer that would have been made?
No counter offer. And to the interest, the thought all along was to see where the interest level was. And that was very important. And from the get-go, that was an effort on our part to chum up interest, and that's a part of what was going on during those months that we were talking about Micah.
Look, here's what I'll say, guys. We knew Micah Parsons really wasn't going to get traded to the Eagles, but if I'm Jerry Jones, if they give me the best offer, I'm pushing them. I'm pushing them for more. I mean, Ruben, you were a general manager. Why would you? I mean, the only reason, I'm going to be honest here, the only reason to not say, give me more, is you're afraid. I mean, what if they offer 3 first-round picks? You could hurt the Eagles. To me, I'm being serious. We knew he wasn't going to get traded to the Eagles. But if I'm a Cowboys fan, I say my owner's afraid.
I don't think it's fear, man. I think it's being intelligent.
It's fear.
It's not fear.
It's
It's being
trade
intelligent.
him here.
You can't trade him to the Eagles.
How do you
crazy?
How do you know?
It's crazy, dude.
James, how do you? Let me ask you this:
You can't. Micah Parsons playing against you 2 times a year.
John,
It's
matter with
Philly
you?
against your
John,
biggest rival.
would you have traded 3 first-round picks for him?
Would I have? Yeah.
Okay.
I would, sure. I think Micah Parsons
maybe
makes a
Howie
huge
would
difference.
have. Maybe Howie would have.
I wouldn't. If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm not trading.
He
him
may
for
not
three
take
firsts.
it.
That's the point.
You're
like
afraid.
you're not
Jerry
trading.
Jones
No,
is
I think it's a
stating-
mistake
You're
to
a
trade
Jerry
him.
Jones.
Jerry
No,
Jones is
it's nothing to do
stating
with
here he's
fear.
not
I'm an Eagles
crazy.
fan. Like I
Lame.
want him here. No, you're being lame.
You're being ridiculous. There's no
Lame.
way.
Lame. Fear. Scary cat. Just saying
How
things.
about just being intelligent?
Yeah, I think
Why would he do that?
It would be dumb.
Because you can get more.
This is
Well,
proof
but
that Jerry
here's the-
Jones is not completely brain dead. He's
Yeah.
not
Thank
completely
you.
brain dead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys stink.
You could get more.
Jason, you with these knuckleheads?
I am. You could get more, but
that.
I think a year after watching the blowback to the New York Giants
Sure.
and letting Saquon come here, that there was no chance anybody in the division was
That's a
going to
good
let
point.
a
And you know-
star
and-
player come here.
And you know what that is, Jason?
What's that?
That's
Fear.
fear. That's fear. That's all that is. All right, 215-592-9494. More with Jason up ahead. So this segment, you're going to hear Jalen Hurts on AJ and Devonta, obviously trying to get them the ball and more. By the way, 40th anniversary of something today in sports. Let's put Ruben Amaro's baseball hat on, because it's always on. Ruben, September 11th, we think of September 11th, 01. But let's go back to September 11th, 1985.
Mm-hmm.
A major record in American history was broken. September 11th, 1985. What was it, Ruben?
85.
Major. Like top 3 in baseball history.
Well, it wasn't Cal Ripken.
Nope.
Because I was
guess.
playing at that time.
James, I mean, it should be pretty. If I say it's a top 3 record in
I mean, is
baseball.
it Nolan Ryan?
No. Rhea?
85.
Come on.
This is like the same time that We Are the
Well, it
World
wasn't
was
home
happening.
runs.
There are wins, there are home runs, and hits.
We're talking
Oh,
about
yeah, Pete Rose.
Rose.
Yeah,
I was
I
gonna
should
say
know
Pete
that.
Rose.
Of course,
I was legitimately thinking.
Yeah. 40-year anniversary, Pete Rose, off of Eric Schau, breaking Ty Cobb's record. All right, 215-592-9494.
Did you just know that name or did you look it up?
No, I knew that name.
Can you spell Eric Schau?
I'm going to go with S-H-O-W.
It is not.
What is it?
Oh, maybe it is.
Oh, brother.
I'm going to say SCHALL.
No, it's definitely not that.
It's either SHAW or OW.
I'm not even
I think
sure.
it's AW.
Anyway, all right, Eagles and Chiefs, we'll get to that up ahead. Also, I want to thank people. So you can, when you call in today, you can win a copy of my book, The Best of Philly Sports. I want to thank people. 2 days ago when we launched it, people really got into it. And here's how I know that. Amazon yesterday, I looked it up, #1 children's football book in the world. So thank you. And #1.
How do they know, though?
I don't know.
How do they know is
don't
right?
ask
I'm not going to
questions,
take
Rhea.
it.
How
No.
many
This is
children's
a Joe.
football
This
books
is
are
a
there?
Joe thing. Joe says,
And-
"How do they know?" Whenever there's
I'm
science.
imitating Joe.
fair
And
enough.
#1 football new release, which I thank
Great.
people for. But this one was wild. #5 football book in the world. And guess whose book was #4?
Ray Didinger.
Bill Belichick.
Oh, no way, really?
So, world, get me above Belichick, please. All right? Amazon.com. It's called
Jordan's
The Best of Philly
coming after
Sports.
you. The girlfriend ain't going to be happy with that.
No, she won't. He's got a few more bucks though than me. I need it a little bit more than he does. Let's go to the phones. But anyway, I do appreciate it. People obviously got going September 9th, and I thank you for that. It's obviously available for sale right now. All right. You can also win it on our show, 215-592-9494. Let's talk about Jalen and AJ and Devonta and perhaps trying to get the ball to those guys more. I mean, definitely trying to get the ball to those guys more. Here is Jalen Hurts yesterday talking about AJ and Devonta and the next game.
If I can bring you back to your first 2 games in 22, it was a quiet game for Devonta week 1, and he had the most yards of his career week 2. Was that a deliberate effort on your part, on the offense's part, for Devonta to have that type of game?
Deliberate by me, I mean, I wouldn't say, but I think the ball has its way of finding you when it comes. I think it's just about making the opportunity, taking advantage of the opportunity. Those things happen. And the more you can just set your eyes on the collective of trying to go out there and win ball games, those things fall into place as they're supposed to. And so that's the approach.
He scoffs at the notion of force feeding him the ball. I get that.
The person asking that question sound like Howie Roseman or no?
I'd have to hear it again. I don't know.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Howie. Oh, yeah. No, you're not wrong.
I didn't notice
Was it
that.
I thought it was Howie asking the
Speech
question.
patterns.
Not since
Similar.
Spadaro used to ask questions. Did they have an employee asking questions? All right, let's go to the phones. Eagles and Chiefs on Sunday. Dennis in Levittown right now. Good morning, Dennis.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Great, Dennis.
Good. I'd like to talk some Phillies and Eagles. Phillies
Sure.
first, Joe. Regarding the 4 players, I have trust in them, and I'll explain why. when those four players, or any Phillies players for that matter, is playing bad, we're all over them. So when they're playing good, it's only fair that we back them and give them our support, at least until they give us something else, not to do it.
Well, listen, there's a difference between support and belief. I mean, I support those guys too. If Brandon Marsh comes up to bat and I'm at the game, I'm cheering, hoping he gets a hit. I'll just tell you this. I dwell more on the 3 years of Brandon Marsh being a little below average more than I do in the last 2 months of him being well above average. That's just me. But everyone can make their own determination. I mean, my answer to the poll question, those four guys collectively, do I believe in them for October? I would give it a no. I want to give it a yes, but I'm keeping it real, and I give it a no.
I'm shocked by that.
Why?
Because you're being a little negative on some of the really good players that have been there.
Well, guys that have played well
Jalen Hurts in particular.
Well, we're not talking about Jalen Hurts. Talking about freaking... Listen, Ruben Marsh had like 0 hits in the first 2 months.
He literally had no hits in April. Right. And he's turned it around. But, I mean, again, it's about development. It's not about how you start. It's always about how you finish.
Damn.
And for me, it's been a great revelation to watch both Marsh and Stott develop in different ways. Marsh on the mental side of the game, and Stott on the physical side because he made it like a pretty major adjustment in the middle of the season.
Sure,
both of them made adjustments. What happened to the Eagles defense last year? Exactly. They made adjustments. The young guys made adjustments,
but they also had great talent.
I'll admit something here.
Okay, but these guys are talented too.
I legitimately put a bet down the moment the Phillies started off slow this year that they're going to win. I really did. And I for some reason in Philadelphia, when teams have high expectations and they underperform to start the season, it gives them this realization that they need to improve and work on things. And it's mind blowing to me that we've lost Zach Wheeler. Now the Phillies somehow are better right now. It's. When that happened, I was like, this is probably done. But there's a lot of correlations with some of the other championship teams in this city and overcoming monumental moments like that. And I don't know, they're peaking at the right time. This is a complete opposite of last year. The 1 year we did perform well in the postseason, it was the same thing where they came out of nowhere, had a really strong end of the regular season, and put on a run. And I'm pretty optimistic right now.
Good.
Maybe I got the blinders on.
The Harrison Bader secret sauce. I mean, there is something to be said for secret sauce. Like CJGJ brought some secret sauce.
The thing we were all talking about and complaining with the Phillies a little, especially one of my big concerns, where's the fire? Where is the you need somebody when you're struggling to just throw it. You need a Bobby Knight moment. Throw a chair and it's stupid.
Eye of the tiger.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
So true.
Yeah.
So, they kind of got a guy now who's got a little bit of edge to him, and that balances really well with JT and some of these other...
Totally. But Dennis, I will say it also helps a ton that Luzardo and Ranger have gotten back in form.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't get back in form, you'd be in trouble.
Of course.
Yeah.
You need them all. Now, Eagles' question is towards Jason. Jason, how are you today?
How we doing? Doing good, Dennis.
Good, thank you. It's a two-part question. One, if you were able to make the decision, would you start Carter this weekend, and what do you think the best approach is to get past this?
The best approach to get past that? I think, first of all, I would start him. I would play him. Okay. He's already been suspended for a game. I think the punitive aspect of it has been dealt. And I would just sit him down and just let him know how much he let his team down, how much he let himself down. And, I think it's a big, major mistake. It was an awful situation, a completely disgusting act. But I think that now that he's already missed a game, you try to, emphasize all those things and let him get back into play. And, with the knowledge of, hey, if you ever do this again, you're done. We're not messing around with this. We're not going to put up for it. This is not what Philadelphia Eagles represent, what our organization represents, or what our football team represents. So go out there with that knowledge.
Hey, Dennis, give me a big answer, my man. For the book and for the Wild Fork Foods gift card, what's an over-the-top scene from a movie or a show?
It would be you, Joe, with your tirade
against
volunteer refs during your tennis match.
Good answer.
Well,
who hired these guys? Who hired them?
Listen, I thought about doing an investigation around here. Who did hire them?
Can you bleeping talk louder, please?
Jason, do you know about this?
No.
So this is me and Fritz thing, which is feeling as flat right now as the end of The Sopranos, because I busted up the foot, and now we're 2-2. We're not going to be able to play till December, it looks like.
So that did get postponed.
It's officially postponed, which is a bummer. And we wanted resolution, and we'll get it at some point, but obviously it's a bit flat now.
Okay.
When we played the third competition, it was a tennis match. The freaking line judge and the umpire was so bad.
Yeah.
I dropped an F-bomb on a microphone at them in front of the whole crowd.
You McEnroed it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
and you know what? They deserved it. And James, you know I'm right.
Oh, he's so right.
I don't give a damn if
I don't care if they're volunteering. Jason, like their only job was to yell whether it was in or out.
Yeah.
And you could not hear them on a single point. I was sitting there being like, hey guys, that was out. And no one's saying anything.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Awful. It was
they
a
were
righteous
not good,
grade.
but I mean, listen, they had to be intimidated by you, man. You know, you're Joe
would
DeCamera.
you knock it off?
You're Joe
Ruben?
DeCamera.
Would you knock
They
it
probably
off?
made one call. They got an F-bomb thrown out, and then I was like, why aren't these guys making any calls?
And I spent the next 4 games apologizing to him. All right, let's get to a couple different Twitter poll questions of the day, all brought to us by Armin Chevrolet. Armin's summer clearance event is on. All 2025 leftovers are discounted for immediate sale. Visit ArminChevy.com. Together, let's drive. Quickly, though, before the poll questions, Ruben, I want to come back to you on the Jalen Carter thing. You play with an all-time Philly leader in Dutch.
Yep.
What, in your opinion, would Dutch have done this week with Jalen Carter?
I mean, I obviously would have pulled him aside, probably had a couple of dinners with him and maybe a lunch or two or whatever, and have a chat with him. I think, when I listened to you talk about Dick Vermeil, there was the discussion about Mean Joe Green and what was done at the time. Who was the head coach? Chuck Noll?
Chuck Noll,
yeah.
What he did and put him in a position. I think that's what leadership is about, man. I think Jim Fregosi did the same thing with Dutch. He basically told him, hey, this is your team. I want you to be the guy. He sort of, he signaled that this he needed to be the leader, and he let him do that. And I think that's exactly what Dutch would have done. He would have grabbed him and said, hey, listen, this is how we do things here. This is unacceptable behavior, and you have to decide whether you want to be great or you just want to be a guy.
But the key is you're giving them ownership. You're
That's
saying,
that's
this
the
is
key.
Your team,
that's the key.
This is you and the rest of the guys who
And
play the best. This is your job to mold this team into the winner you believe it can be. I like
and that's
the
what Chuck
idea
Noll
of
did.
giving responsibility.
That's what Chuck Noll did to Mean Joe Green.
What a
He
great
gave
story
him,
from Ray.
It's a tremendous story.
For those that missed it,
but-
Ray told a story of Mean Joe Green, who might have been the best defensive player in the 70s in pro football early in his career. And Jason, you probably don't know this. 3 ejections, 2 of which were for spitting.
Wow.
One of which was for spitting on Dick Butkus.
The only
good luck, Ray. Good luck.
How did he live?
I'll tell you how he lived. He got kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
That's how he lived.
But another ejection for actually going and being so frustrated that he picked up the ball on the field and whipped it up into the crowd in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I didn't know any of this. So that is...
I did not know any of that as well.
It's pretty amazing.
It's amazing, and I think we just said something a few seconds ago with like ownership, and I think the thing that usually hits home the most, I think, with guys is, listen, this is a moment that you have right now to be the best player in the world. All these things can screw it up, and I think that's kind of the emphasis that you go to these guys with, and then at the same time, like, emphasize how much the team needs you, how much like this is your defense. When you put that kind of weight and responsibility on somebody, hopefully they respond. And I think that's the best way to do it. If you just try to like, hey, go run gassers, like that doesn't necessarily hit in any type of like self-acknowledging role. It's just like a punitive thing. Now that's already been dealt. We need to get home to this like, hey, this is your responsibility. This is your team. You are the face of how good this team is going to be. That's the reality of it, on defense at least. And we need you to be better. This is not what is acceptable. And more importantly, for yourself, you need to be better. And for the team.
All right, so how about this segue? Here we go. Segue to the Twitter poll question. I'm going to each of you for one. Twitter poll question, Rhea. Segue to Ben Simmons, who had a chance to be an all-time great.
Nailed it.
So here's where we are. Rhea Hughes, do you think Ben Simmons, who got dropped this week by his agent, do you think he will ever play in an NBA game again, yes or no?
Has he been playing?
Barely.
No, I mean, it's just, I just remember the outright fights I used to have with people when they would tell me, it's going to be better than Magic Johnson. And I'm like, Not if you don't shoot
Right,
the ball.
but I will say he was a breathtaking athlete. He
there's no doubt about it.
Unbelievable with
Absolutely no doubt about it. The way he ran the court, no doubt about it. But he was afraid to shoot.
He was afraid to shoot. And it seems like it's affected his whole game. And I think his back is really, because his back has taken some of that athleticism
But there's so
away.
many athletes that I played with and against that were so breathtakingly good that never got there and never got close to their abilities because they didn't have the emotional, the gumption. They didn't have the competitiveness. They didn't have the desire to be those guys. And so that's where the mental part of the game, and Jason knows this as well as anybody, you got to have some cojones to be the person you need to be.
Well, that's why Fritz wasn't going to beat me in this competition.
Yeah, that's what exactly I was thinking.
Wow, that's quite an indictment on Fritz.
I'll be very honest. I think a lot of it also has to do with getting into a culture and a building that is breeding that kind of mentality. And I think Ben has his issues, and it's this is a sad situation because the guy had so much talent, and it just never ended up getting realized. And we just talked about ownership a few seconds ago, and I just don't think that even listening when he was still in the Sixers, to not even just him, a lot of those guys, I always felt like there was excuses made. There was always it's like, how in the world are you guys ever going to improve if you're not being honest with yourselves? And it was even as bad as Ben was. And I remember and he was a fantastic talent, but he was struggling at the free throws, and everybody's ripping Philadelphia for not being nice to him. I went to a playoff game, and it had gotten so bad. I remember this vividly. That the Sixers fans had resorted to cheering him on.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
almost sarcastically.
It wasn't even sarcastic. It was like a kid. There was a kid that let out you can do it. I'm like, what the? This is so weird.
I know.
This is almost worse than if they're MFing me. In my
People
opinion.
were trying.
That guy went viral. Remember that guy went viral? Like the dad in the stands, shoot
I
it
would
like
be
this,
more
shoot it
offended.
like this.
I would be more offended at this. But then even after that whole series with Milwaukee and we blew two major leads.
Well, it's Atlanta, and then it was Miami, and then there was a Boston in there.
The Atlanta one was where they blew the lead.
Yeah.
It was Atlanta. So even after that.
Yeah, right.
I remember even after that. I remember listening after the post game, and it wasn't like a direct throwing under the bus, but Doc and Joel kind of deferred a little bit of blame there. I'm like, guys, you blew two big leads. And now you're going to put it on this kid that's already facing all the scrutiny. And I'm like, if I'm on that locker room, I'm doing everything I can to deflect blame from this guy who's already getting as much as possible.
But I'll say this: they tried for so long.
That's true.
They tried.
In their defense,
if I'm
that's
Joel,
a very good point. That's a very good point.
So of all the sports industries in the world, I've talked to a lot of people about this. There is to be able to have some sort of culture in your locker room. The NBA is the most difficult one to do. You want to know why? Because the Indians are running it.
Yeah.
The players are basically running the organizations. And they give them so much power in this day and age that it's virtually impossible to have that culture unless the best players on that team have the culture that's necessary to be a champion.
And that's where
unless you have a Kobe
and that's
or those kind of guys, or you have a Charles or somebody like that on your team.
Yeah.
That's you can create that kind.
All right, so second poll question. Seltz, I'm coming to you on this one. The four players who have all played much better as this season has gone on: Harrison Bader, who's only been here for a month, but he's played very well; Brandon Marsh, Max Kepler, and Bryson Stott. The collective. James, do you believe in them for October and playoff baseball? Yes or no?
Half of them. I believe in Bader and I believe in Stott. I'm not quite there with Marsh and Kepler yet. Marsh has been so good, but
he's been great.
We've just seen playoff struggles and we've seen him go cold quickly. So I have a lot more faith than I expect to. Real quick, though, because we've mentioned the competition with Fritz, can I ask you a question real quick? Because we brought this up in the air and I'd love to hear Jason Kelce's take on this as well. This tweet that you put out a couple nights ago.
Okay.
This
I put out a lot of tweets. I put a lot of tweets.
That Jack Fritz fellow is mighty lucky that he didn't play hoops against a healthy me today. It's the reason why his dream of beating me is still alive for now. Hashtag, and he wrote out the word hashtag. It's only a matter of time until 47-year-old me clowns him.
Dude.
Wow.
That is well said.
Why would you put that?
Smack talking 101.
I think it's one of the most ridiculous tweets I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I have the boot on.
It's incredible.
I might be 48 by the time we play the game, but hey, what are you going to do? All right, Jason, final poll question. This is a twist the brain question.
Okay.
Green Bay and Washington play tonight. Who should we be rooting for?
Oh man, probably Green Bay. I think you want the division as secure as possible, but I think both of these teams at the end of the day are going to be really good this year.
The argument the other way is easier to win the division than the conference.
Yeah,
a Green Bay loss could really help.
It could. I mean, Green Bay had probably the most dominant week one out of any team in the NFL, and with the Parsons trade and how they looked, you definitely don't want them winning too many games. I will say, I think Green Bay is in the toughest division in football probably this year in the NFC North. It's very stacked, so I think that they're going to have a hard time being the number one team in the NFC.
That's
regardless.
a really great point.
That is a good
think
point.
Think about that.
They do have a pretty easy schedule, though, other than the division. If you look at it, it's definitely easier than the Eagles' schedule, for what it's worth.
All right, let's get to Gary in Whitehall right now. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning.
What's up,
How are we
Gary?
doing today?
Good.
Super.
I'm good. Great.
It's a great day for remembrance, and it's going to be even a better day when they kick the crap out of them stinking Mets.
Well, the Phillies have a chance to get him out of the playoffs. I mean, the Mets are 2 up with 16 to go on a playoff spot.
And they don't have the tie. They're actually 1 up on the Reds because the Reds have the tiebreaker against the Mets. So technically, if the Reds tie them, they get it.
Bury them. Put both feet on their throats. So anyway, I got 2 questions. I don't want to tell you too long. One for Ruben, and is Jason still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, Jason. First thing first. Hello. Second thing. Hello. Second thing.
Hold on, Jason has the response. Here's the response.
What's up, John?
Jason would never do that. He would never force people to listen to that drop.
Jason, do you think Spags is going to double down and try to stop Barkley again?
I don't know. I think I would imagine he'll have a different game plan than what he had in the Super Bowl. I think.
Yeah, because it didn't work.
I think he's going to try and stop Saquon for sure, but I think he's going to do some things most likely to mitigate the big plays that happen.
Right. Okay. So that's actually good for us because I think the running game is going to open up this week. So thank you for that answer.
I would love hearing.
Ruben, hello. How you doing?
Great. You?
I'm doing fantastic. Rube, you're the general manager. You bring back Bader for next year.
Oh, I think they're going to pick up the mutual option, but I don't think Bader will.
He has to agree to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think
Bader will.
Any chance if he plays his rear end off like he's playing right now, everybody's going to be on him. So he's going to get a multi-year deal probably.
Yeah, Gary,
it doesn't preclude him from actually signing him if he doesn't pick it up.
Mutual options are so silly too because it's like just agreeing to a contract.
Right.
Correct.
Gary, what Ruben's basically saying is Bader likely would opt out, and then you'd have to sign him as a free agent.
I would just like to see it because this would solidify our defense in the center field mainly. So I would like that to happen. That would be awesome. So anyway, Joe, here's my answer for you.
Yes, sir.
You built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Give me the scene, though.
Well,
it's the whole scene.
Is it the one where he goes to his house?
No, it's when when at the end
goes
of the
to his
first
house.
one. Yeah.
Not the end. I'm talking the middle of the movie.
The middle of the movie.
Is that what you're saying, Gary? The middle of the movie?
Yes.
Okay, I got you. All right, fair enough. I don't know if it's that over the top, but I think Doc Brown tying the thing together so Marty can get to 88 miles an hour and back to 1985 a little more.
The clock tower.
Totally agree.
That's why I was trying to help the guy out.
When they were whizzing around.
Yeah, which scene are we talking about here? Or we could say when the guys from the Middle East are coming at him with machine guns.
Or how about when he almost makes out with his mom? I mean, that's pretty over the top.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Joe was into
that. Joe is on the record as.
I mean, if it's Leah Thompson,
he was digging it.
I mean, it's Leah Thompson. What do I care?
Not his mom yet, right? There you go.
Correct. All right.
Oedipal boy. Come on.
Jason, we'll get you out on this one. Here's what is an amazing thing about the Eagles-Chiefs. How small the Andy Reid storyline is.
Yeah.
Like, it's been, 2025, that was 2012.
Been 13.
2012.
Yeah.
13 years.
January of 2013, he got fired. Like, they're about to face the coach that managed here longer than maybe anyone other than like Connie Mack with the freaking ace.
Yeah.
I mean, Andy Reid, monumental character in the history of Philadelphia sports, but it's been so long and there's been so much history.
Yeah.
It almost feels like, John, we haven't even mentioned it yet this week.
That's incredible.
The Eagles against Andy Reid.
We've already played him twice in a Super Bowl.
Jason, it's like an afterthought. It's circumstances made it an afterthought.
Yeah, and there's enough time removed now in the world of sports where people forget how much he meant to the organization, the city, and how much he built everything with the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, Jeffrey Lurie hired Andy Reid, and a big reason they're still successful today is because of a lot of principles and culture that Andy established.
Jeffrey and Howie learned from him.
Correct, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that if you look at the things that Andy has touched between the Eagles and the Chiefs, and the fact that he's built both of these franchises into pillars in the NFL of success over the last 20 years, it's a hell of a freaking resume for Andy Reid. And it's always, I don't know, it's just incredible what he's built in both places, and hard to imagine that anybody could replicate that.
What does he mean to you on a personal level?
He is Andy was I was so young when I came into the league. But right away, it gets established that this dude is he's a very stoic disciplinarian, but at the same time, he has this like love for his players and will do anything for them. We just talked about like taking responsibility. That guy would fall on the sword every freaking day, to the point that fans would get pissed off. Like, why aren't you doing?
Yeah.
But he would still hold you accountable. But there's a way of doing something publicly and privately, and there's no judgment on it. He just wants you to see you be the best person and player you can be.
You trust that he has your best interest in mind always.
Yep.
And you know he will always do what benefits you as a player and what benefits the team first.
And listen, he drafted me, he drafted my brother. He's built both of our careers to a large extent. And, I owe a lot to Andy Reid as someone who brought me into the NFL and welcomed me to it. My family owes a ton to him and his family. So, I love Andy Reid. I'll always love him. And, this 1 week, maybe. But
it's complicated.
Yeah, exactly. But,
there you go.
But no, I love Andy and always will.
So, Ray, real quick,
yes,
for the 15 to 20% that are not Andy Reid people, of which you are one of those.
I'm the charter member.
What is the retort?
I like Jason Kelce a lot.
Hey, Jason, stay well, man. We love having you in here. Every Thursday, Jason with us for about an hour. Have a great rest of the week. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks for having me in, guys.
All right, there he is, the future Hall of Famer.
I knew you were going to come to. I knew you were doing.
Well, I got to give you a shot.
At me.
I mean,
I shut my mic off. If you don't have anything nice to say, I generally say, come sit next to me. But, when it comes to people I like, I shut my mic off.
Yeah, no, I get it. Listen, it's probably 10 to 15%, that are like just a total anti, maybe 20.